George Paton talked to reporters at the annual league meetings this morning. And so we've got a lot to talk about today. Updates on the receivers, the running backs, the JFM replacement. We're going to get started here in 30 seconds. Welcome into the DNVR Broncos Podcast from the Xfinity Studio. We've got a lot to talk about today.
We do.
Yep, we're going to hear from Zac, who's down in Arizona at the owners' meetings in about 15 minutes. But before that, we get a chance to go through some of the big topics. I'm Henry Chisholm. Got RK. Got Super Bowl 50 champion Bennie Fowler. And how's it going?
Going well.
Going well.
Going well. Yeah. Great weekend. As I was sharing with you guys offline, met some really cool people. Davis Webb included in that. Got a chance to just talk with Davis Webb this weekend, just kind of random. It was good to just chop it up with him. And then also two of the founders of DoorDash.
Right.
Like just really random weekend and they were in town for the Nuggets game, and the Nuggets got the win last night. But it was really cool to meet Andy and Stanley from two of the three founders of DoorDash and hear that story. It was crazy.
Normally it's no free ads, but we'll allow this one.
I'll balance it out by saying I'm an Uber Eats guy. So
wow.
Are you?
There we go. Yeah.
I am not.
I just like that because it crosses over with like the Uber subscription. So you just get kind of the 2-for-1.
Sure. No more free ads.
No, I was canceling out his free ad.
That's just 2 free ads.
No, it's not.
That's awesome. Can we hang out more on the weekends? I feel like every weekend you do something really cool.
Let's do it.
You do cool things. Yeah.
That was not expected though. None of that. Like
Also, repping your Sunday red in solidarity with Tiger today.
Tiger's having a tough go of it.
He is having a tough go of it.
That is very tough.
Middle of the day on a Friday. It's like 3 o'clock.
Well, because he has so much pain. Like I would imagine.
Just don't drive.
Right. Well, certainly don't drive. But yeah, I mean, that poor, I love that guy.
So what time was Zac talking to George Paton this morning?
I don't really know. I was trying to go through so the Broncos didn't like broadcast any of it.
Yeah.
And so you're just kind of like reading the tweets, and then the tweets stop for a bit, and you're like, maybe he's done talking, and then there are more tweets later on, and you're like, what's going on here? But early this morning, Zac talked to George Paton. What questions would you guys have for George Paton?
Well, I think we got the answer to the most interesting one. And that's the headline of the show. And I think we'll get more from Zac when we talk to him about what exactly went down and what George had to say. But George Paton said that the Broncos are not interested in trading a wide receiver despite their maybe embarrassment of riches at the position.
Yeah.
Certainly embarrassment of potential.
Yeah.
At the position between Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant, and Marvin Mims, all of those guys. Even Marvin, who's been in this league for a while, has shown a lot of unlocked potential when he gets the touches that I'm sure he believes he deserves. So,
did that conversation start with us last week about the trade rumors? I don't know.
It was certainly the beginning of the conversation.
yeah.
And I feel
First
like now
or
it's
close to
picked up steam.
Is it our fault? Is the question? Yeah.
Well, but do you have the exact quote?
I can pull it up. Yep.
I think people were missing the fact. I don't think we want Marvin traded. I don't think anybody here wants Marvin traded. But to me, it just makes a lot of sense for him to, if he's not going to get extended here, and people are like, oh, they should extend him. Like, with what money?
Yeah.
Right. Because receivers are expensive.
Exactly. And he deserves to be paid.
Right. Like you can get, he's probably like your fourth receiver and really good for a fourth receiver.
Yeah.
But imagine being like the first guy off the bench at any other position and expecting to get $15 million a year. Like it's just a crazy amount of money. But it's because receivers are important, and that's why it gave up all they did for Jaylen Waddle. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Yeah, so George said, why would we build up this room and then trade someone right now? So we really like those pieces.
And that was actually kind of my take from it, was like, there is a lot of value out there to be had, but you are trying to win a Super Bowl. So, I think we had this conversation, it was last Monday, And the point I had is it's the job of the wide receivers coach and Davis Webb and Sean Payton to keep people like Marvin engaged and say, hey, look, you're going to get your chance to get paid. Like, look at Rashid Shaheed. You know, like he goes in, he's a contributor on a Super Bowl team. He makes some big plays in special teams, and now he's getting paid. That can be you. We just need you to go hard for this last year, and then, you know, it'll be us, probably not, or somewhere else will be willing to pay you a lot of money. And so, like, I agree with George in that sense. I think that it would have to be a really, really impressive trade package to move me and make me want to do it, especially as we've talked over and over again. We watched, you know, little Jordan Humphrey, no disrespect, become a key character in a playoff game because everyone else was hurt.
Yep.
I mean, look, and I understand what everybody's saying, and I get your point. Can you now argue the point for Marvin Mims if you're him?
Well, yeah. I mean, he could go somewhere and be their 2 option potentially.
Or solidified 3.
Yeah, or exactly, a solidified 3 on a good team, probably. Yeah. And I'm just thinking, like, I guess they have a lot of receivers. But
anybody in the AFC West.
True. We went through that last week.
We did.
We're obviously not trading him anywhere in the AFC West,
right?
Though, so that's out. But, yeah, I mean, I would understand that. We're only getting one side of the story, which is George Paton, but I think that's an important side.
Yep.
You know, he probably was never going to say, like, yeah, we're open for business. Come get a receiver. You know, we've got plenty.
Everyone's available.
Yeah. But I think he could have said something along the lines of, yeah, you know, that's a stacked position for us, and we'd be, you know, open to hearing offers for some of our great young talent. I think that by shutting it down, he's giving his perspective. That's different from Marvin, where, you know, you have to ask Marvin directly if that's something that's on his mind. But Henry has been pretty staunch about the fact that he doesn't see Marvin as that kind of guy who would kind of go in and say, like, I'm trying to get out of here.
Yeah, I mean,
his agent might be, though.
Yeah, I think it's agent, but it doesn't have to be done in a distasteful way for him to say, my talents are better off somewhere else now. Because if we just have to think about where are the targets going to go? Who is going to get the ball? You know, Cortland's going to get a share of the targets, and you know Waddle is going to get the lion's share of the targets. Those 2 guys are going to get the targets. Where does Marvin fit in? And we've seen this over the last couple of years where Marvin late in the season gets the ball and shows this incredible playmaking ability that we wish we had saw earlier in the season. And for some reason, they haven't been able to figure out a full season of Marvin really getting the ball. He's obviously one of the Broncos' most dynamic playmakers. He can be in the backfield. He can catch the ball down the field. He can catch the intermediate passes. He can go catch and run opportunities, screen opportunities, jet sweeps. He has all this playmaking ability, but yet we don't consistently see it in the game plan. So for him, to me, going into a contract year where I have a couple of first-team All-Pros, like, to me, my targets and my usage rate is actually going to go down when you add a guy like Waddle, where we have similar skill sets, you know, similar body frames, similar body types in terms of how we play, but you just traded for this guy. Your 1st-round pick, a 3rd-round pick, and a 5th-round pick. So where do I fit in? And when he talked about it on Altitude, he was like, yeah, I was surprised by it because, yeah, we play similarly. And that, to me, is George Paton can say, you know, hey, we're not open. You know, we built up that room. That room is stacked with opportunity and stacked with talent. You know, Pat Bryant, great rookie year. Troy Franklin took a huge step in his 2nd year, and now you add somebody who's got 5,000 yards in 5 seasons, and in Cortland. Where does Marvin fit in? So I'm thinking about it from the player's perspective in terms of, yeah, Marvin doesn't have to say, hey, George, I want to be out of here, but hey, Sean Payton, Davis Webb, what does this really look like for me? Mm-hmm. How are you going to use him? Because y'all traded for him. He's now the guy.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it is a question. To me, Marvin just likes to be a Bronco. Like, he does more commercials in Denver than I think any other Bronco. Like, it's everywhere you look.
He's at every game too. All the sporting events.
Exactly. Like, Good Times has their deal. Like, If Marvin scores a touchdown, you get like a free
number 2 for you.
We're talking about his ad deals. He's talking about his ads.
Just
like
you could say there's a burger joint. There's
no, it's fine. You're good. We'll live. But it's just over and over. Like you turn on TV, like Bo has started to do some as well.
Yeah.
But Marvin has more than anybody. And like when you're so ingrained in the community, which I agree probably isn't going to last past this year. Like I just think.
So where do the Broncos get their value then?
Oh, get the comp pick if he leaves.
Yeah, I see both sides of this. I really do. But I'm just thinking of it through the lens that Bennie put out there. And it's like, if DNVR brought in something who did all of the same things as you and everyone was really excited about it. And
it's true.
The first show after he's hired, he's on and they're like, hey, you can stay home today. Like, you can write or something.
Right.
You would be like,
trade me?
What does this mean for me? You know,
oh, absolutely.
Like, did I just get replaced?
Right.
And that means that I don't have a future here anymore. So I guess I better start going looking for other jobs.
He's certainly having those thoughts.
OTA starts, or the Broncos are doing it a little bit later, so they're coming in May. Mm-hmm. So let's just put it out there for everybody. You know, OTAs, you come in, you start, you know, going through the offense. Davis Webb is going to start installing the offense. Then they're going to go out there. They're going to be on the field. And then they're going to eventually go against the defense. You're going to go to minicamp. Okay, hey, the ones are out there. And you got 12 personnel. You got Cortland and Waddle. And then your twos. Who are your twos? Is it Pat Bryant and Troy Franklin? And then is Mims in there and he's mixing it in with? That's where it's going to get a little muddy in terms of that. Like every year we went into OTAs, DT and E, first two guys. Yep. Everybody else kind of fit in, but we knew that.
Right.
Marvin's got such a unique skill set here, and he's made so many big time plays, especially in playoff games, where it's like he should be like, oh no, I should be with the ones.
Do you think there's a world where, like, we'll knock on wood, but like if Jaylen misses, let's just say like weeks 13 and 14, the Broncos are at a point where like that role is just so solidified and so clear cut, and the team knows how they use Jaylen, that you could just slot Marvin in for those 2 weeks and he has 2 great games because the Broncos have kind of figured out how to use that skill set?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's best case scenario for the Broncos.
Right.
Not best case scenario for Marvin in terms of his career. Like, you know, this is an important year.
But that would make him a lot of money.
Just those 2 weeks?
If he goes in 2 weeks, his target share increases 5x and he puts up 200+ yard games. Like now he has like a large sample size to say like, I have done this. Every time you give me 10 targets, I give you 100 yards.
I just can't get past Jalen Naylor, who we appreciate as a Spartan, getting $10 million a year.
Yes.
Like that
I think that's the receiver class though, and lack of receivers in free agency. And he lucked out in his timing.
It almost makes me wonder if you could get Marvin on a deal this summer.
For how much a year?
10?
If you keep it under 10, it's a steal, is what it feels like.
Yes.
I mean, he's getting 6 this year. So bumping it up $4 million isn't the end of the world. And for him as like a 23-year-old, 24-year-old, you get like the 2-year little bridge contract and hit the market in a couple of years.
But again,
when hopefully you have some real tape.
If you're someone who's thinking to yourself, like, I'm a star in this league.
Yeah.
Like, all I need is the chances. And every time I've gotten those chances, I've proven that I am. I don't know if you want that.
Or is he thinking like, I like Denver. Things are going well. I'm on a good team. I produce when I get. Like, the opportunities will come. I don't know.
Man, your career is short. And,
it's true.
You know, as much as he might love Denver, money is, you know, hey, we can give you 8 a year, or hey, we're going to give you 15 a year. I think you'll take the 15.
Yeah. And for him, it's tough to imagine something going wrong that hurts his value before the offseason. Like, there's always the possibility of an injury, which is scary, knock on wood again. But, like, it's not like his targets are going to dry up so much because they're already so small. Like, the production's already so low. It's not like he's going to have a down year. And so all these numbers we expect from him in free agency are going to change drastically. Yeah. So, like, locking up a short-term deal and sacrificing a couple bucks might not be worth it.
The question is, how does Davis view him?
Yeah.
Right.
How does Davis Webb view him?
Did you ask?
I didn't ask that. I didn't ask that because I didn't want to, like...
You didn't want to get
get into that. Like, it was our first time ever meeting. I was like, hey, what do you think about Mims? Franklin?
I got a show on Monday.
All right, we've got Zach on the other side. Stay tuned. We're going to hear everything that happened down in Arizona.
If you love the NFL Draft, then this is your edge. The Die Hard NFL Draft Guide is built and based off of thousands of hours of film study, being boots on the ground, Shrine Bowl, Senior Bowl, Combine, talking to scouts, talking to coaches, really getting a feel for where these players are best going to fit and project in the NFL. We're talking hundreds of players in this class.
Fran's Die Hard Draft Guide is the best draft guide for all Broncos fans, and especially with the Broncos picking at 30 so late in the first round and so late in every round, you need a comprehensive draft guide as good as Fran's.
All right, so what are you going to find in the guide? Well, you're going to find player comps, you're going to find strengths, weaknesses, physical tools, analytics, highlights, analysis from all across the space, everything you need to try and determine who are the best players for your team. You get access to the guide if you're a diehard. You'll also get access to a couple of individual breakdowns I'm doing specifically for your team. All right, look, if you want surface level breakdowns, you can get them anywhere. But if you want independent thought, if you want thorough breakdowns on all of these prospects, become a diehard, get the guide. Or you can get access to the 2026 guide for just $26. Let's win draft season.
Shout out to our friends over at STK, where you've heard about the Benny Hanna 369 happy hour. STK also has it Sunday through Thursday, 2:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And then also, I love a late night happy hour, 9 p.m. till close, plus Friday and Saturday from 2:30 to 5:30. So any day of the week, you can go over and find happy hour at our friends over at STK. Plus, they're open late night on game days after Nuggets, Broncos, Avs games. And right now, they've got the steak night deal. 3-course meal plus a glass of wine, 69 nice bucks per person.
Wow.
I
love a deal.
It's a hell of a deal. Henry is going to be there probably tonight.
Probably.
After hearing how good of a deal that is. They've got all sorts of great food over there. And they also kind of keep it vibey. Got a DJ.
Wow.
In the house.
Dinner with a DJ.
Check it out. Get over there, make a reservation, or learn more at stksteakhouse.com.
Back into the Xfinity studio for the DNVR Broncos podcast. And now we go to the Xfinity mobile call-in line. Imagine that. See Zac Stevens.
Zach's tan.
He is tan.
Fellas, what is going on? I had to get my tan out before coming to Phoenix. It's already like 90 degrees here. I'm ready to rock and roll. Already talked to George Paton, got some good intel. Heard you guys breaking it down about the Broncos not trading a receiver. That's obviously a huge thing here. Then we got a couple of other things as well. Just the initial reaction to Jaylen Waddle being traded by the Broncos. Got to hear that from George Paton. Also a couple of other things as well. J.K. Dobbins, why they brought him back. I'm sure you guys are interested to hear about that. He was asked about balancing injury concerns with also just how good J.K. is. So we'll get to that. And then why the Broncos had a quiet free agency. So we got tons to talk about already on this Monday morning, and I'm happy to be talking to you guys.
Well, let's get it started, Zach. What was the most interesting thing out of all of that you just mentioned?
Well, you guys hit it right off the bat. I mean, it's the Broncos aren't going to be trading a wide receiver. And one thing that I want to point out is George Paton is an extremely straight shooter. He does not lie to the media when he talks. He could have easily deflected that question if he was potentially thinking about trading one of these receivers. Now, obviously, there can be you can be blown out of the water by an offer. You're offered a first-round pick for Troy or for Marvin. Okay, circumstances change, but that is not in the Broncos' plans right now. And George kind of said it perfectly at the end of his answer. He said, we've spent so much time and effort building this room up. Why would we tear it down or trade a piece right now? And when I think it comes to Marvin, because you guys talked about him, I don't think his role is going to change all that much. Remember, last year, Marvin Mims was on the field for 33% of the Broncos' offensive snaps. So that isn't going to decrease that much. It's going to be Troy Franklin, who was the Broncos' second receiver last year, not just in terms of yards and catches, but also time on the field. That is going to impact him by bringing Jaylen Waddle here. But we also know that Sean Payton loves to rotate wide receivers. And now while Sean isn't calling the plays, there's still going to be a rotation at that third receiver spot. And it's Troy, it's Pat, it's Marvin. And then we know, we heard George today throw out Lil Jordan Humphrey and Michael Bandy's name. So I do take George at his word when he says they are not looking to trade one of these guys. And I expect that this to be the wide receiver room come week one.
What else did you learn?
Well, let's get to J.K. Dobbins. Why the Broncos re-signed J.K. Dobbins, and this is just a ringing endorsement of J.K. George said when J.K. walked into the building last year, he completely changed the organization. And that's one guy coming in, and he said it was just too valuable. We could not let him leave after how much he meant to this team. And he was asked, well, how do you balance that with the injury history that he has? And guys, George said something that I've been saying on the show, and that's been echoing through the Broncos building over the past many months, is they believe his injury last year was a freak accident. That's what George Paton said today. It was a hip drop tackle. It was a legal tackle. He's 100% healthy right now. But George does know that they have to keep that in the back of their mind and balance that. And he pointed to RJ Harvey as that safety net, that insurance for the Broncos. And he said that RJ Harvey got a lot better as a runner as the year went on last year. They still have all the confidence in the world that he can be that guy if JK does go down for a couple of games, and they hope it would just be a couple of games there. But it was pretty powerful hearing George talk about just how much J.K. Dobbins not impacted the offense, but impacted the entire Broncos organization, and they just loved him way too much. And we saw that with the contract they gave him. I think everyone was surprised at how much J.K. got, but other teams wanted him, and the Broncos said, we cannot lose this guy who's so valuable on and off the field.
Zach, you said that George talked about the injuries with JK and how they're going to try to mitigate those injuries or stop him from getting injured, or, you know, whatever it may be. How are they going to help him stay healthy throughout the year?
Yeah, I mean, according to what George said today, it's pretty much just don't get hip drop tackled. And so it is going to be interesting. We'll talk to Sean about that tomorrow. He talks to us in the morning, and I hear those sighs, and I understand it, but this is just what I've been hearing in the building for months now. So it just feels like a fact to me. They are so confident in JK and confident in his injury history, and we've seen it. JK's going after people online saying he is not going to get injured this year, and I get it. From the other side, we haven't seen that in a single year that he's been in the NFL. He has been injured every single year. So I totally understand being questioning that. But to answer your question, they really like RJ Harvey. Now, George did say that the Broncos are still always going to be looking at running backs, and I expect them to add a running back in the draft. But that's why they didn't go out and make another big signing in free agency, is because they really do like RJ Harvey here. And Broncos have a lot of day 3 picks. That's where I expect them to add a running back. And one interesting thing that George said today, he praised having the Mr. Irrelevant pick and the runner-up to the Mr. Irrelevant pick, and said those are huge opportunities to get guys that we prioritize as undrafted free agents that we just get to snag. He said they actually did that with Jonathan Cooper. Jonathan Cooper was set to become a UDFA, and they said, we're not going to let him do that. We're going to grab him right here. They have some other success stories, but Jonathan Cooper is the biggest one, and I wouldn't be surprised if they use one of those picks on a running back, if not also like a 4th or a 5th round pick.
It's interesting. Yeah.
I've got more takes on that, but I'm going to save it for after.
I know. He said something about potentially not drafting, like getting somebody after the draft too, right? Was that just undrafted guys, or was that in reference to like a free agent?
No, it was reference to free agent. And in fact, he pointed to exactly J.K. Dobbins' situation last year. He said, look, we got J.K. Dobbins at the beginning of June last year. We can do that again, but it would be a different situation. When they signed J.K. Dobbins, behind the scenes, everyone knew this, but we didn't really know this until way later. But J.K. was the starter when the Broncos signed him. There was no shared running back room with RJ Harvey and him. It was clear. When they signed him, J.K. knew he was the starter and the lead back, and so did everyone on the Broncos. Maybe not RJ Harvey, but everyone else knew that he was the guy, and that's going to be the case this year. So that's why I don't expect a big signing in free agency, and why I expect it to be more so of a day 3 pick for the Broncos at running back, not that 2nd-round pick. And that 2nd-round pick, George Paton also pointed to it. They have so much experience drafting at that number 60 spot in the draft, because Broncos have got Marvin Mims there. They've got Drew Sanders right around there. And then, of course, holy shit, Nick Bonito at 64. And George said, we have experience doing this, not having picks. That trade didn't go down as well as the Broncos hoped with Russ not having picks there. But the Broncos do know how to get talent there. And, man, if they get a Marvin Mims, if they get a Nick Bonito there, I think that's a successful first 2 days of the draft for the Broncos, getting Jaylen Waddle and then one of those type of guys.
Speaking of Jaylen, what did he have to say about that trade?
Oh man, just he said he's one of the most explosive playmakers in the NFL. And when you take it for that, of course you give up a first round pick. George said, I like picks more than anyone, and this trade was worth it. He did say that we know that they were talking about Jaylen Waddle before the trade deadline last year, said the asking price was just, they were asking for so much. So probably 2 1s, a 1 and a 2, something like that. And the Broncos just couldn't get there, but they stayed on the phone and got with the Miami Dolphins' new brass taken over. George Paton praised them for the way they did business. And he said that the conversations actually started after the combine. So it wasn't a 2 or 3 week process. It was more of a 10-day process in order to get Jaylen Waddle. He said, we did tons of research on him last year. We did more research on him this year. George actually didn't talk to Pat Surtain this time around. He talked to Pat about Jaylen Waddle at the trade deadline, but then did call Pat Surtain when the trade went down and said Pat was screaming and very happy to have his best friend back in town and reunite his teammates once again. He said he walked down to the training room right after the trade went down and saw Bo Nix, and Bo was absolutely thrilled with the move, as you could expect. And then George joked around, said Bo is like a quasi GM, thinks he knows everything that happens and knows all the right moves. He said sometimes he's right, sometimes he's wrong with the moves, but he said, I think he's going to be right about this Jaylen Waddle one because he is very, very special. So, I mean, when you hear George, who loves draft picks, talk about giving up a first and a third, and he still loves the move, that just shows you how he's viewed in the organization. And also, one more thing, pointed to his age, just being a young still. And that's the same thing with J.K. Dobbins, pointed to both of their ages in terms of why it was important to bring J.K. back and then to go out and get Jaylen Waddle.
Zach, talk to us a little bit about, I think I saw you tweet about Bo Nix's health, and he will be ready for OTAs?
Yes, yeah, that he's supposed to be exactly on track as where he was. And so he should be good to go. We know that Sean Payton has now said that OTAs are going to start in the beginning of June for the Broncos. So he pushed it back pretty much a whole month because of the long Broncos playoff run that they went on. And he's still scheduled to be on track. I mean, he was at the Nuggets game last night and no boot, no cast, no nothing. So he is on track. Well, we might get more of an update from Sean tomorrow, but I wouldn't be surprised if when Sean's asked about Bo's health tomorrow, if Sean's like, hey, you guys know I can't be talking about Bo's health. So we'll see how that goes. But yes, I there's no concern on Bo Nix's injury front.
What's next for you out there?
Well, we talked to Broncos owner Greg Penner. The morning was Waddle focused. The afternoon is going to be all stadium focused. So talked to Greg Penner. We only talk to him about twice a year. And then we're going to talk to Damani Leach this afternoon and then a little mixer tonight. So hopefully get some stuff off record there. And then Sean Payton bright and early tomorrow morning as well. So stay tuned. We're going to be dropping a mini pod and a video on YouTube breaking down everything that we learned today, because I think there's going to be some good stadium developments that fans are excited to hear about.
See if we can get a non-stadium update from Greg Penner. Like, I'm just not that interested in 2031.
It's true.
Okay. So, I was actually going to.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask him. You guys can tell me if this is a bad question or not. Ask him what he thought about Sean Payton giving up play calling duties, and then what he thinks of Davis Webb.
No, that's what I'm talking about. That's
okay.
What I'm talking about.
Boom, man. If I make Ryan happy, then I've made my life happy.
All right.
There's just so much interesting stuff about the Broncos, and they're going to ask him 50
Right.
questions about something that will happen when you and I are damn near 40.
Yeah. If we can make it that far.
That is very true.
All right. Thanks, Zach, for jumping on.
That sounds.
the
Wow. Yeah, we will be.
Me and Benny,
Right?
yeah.
Yes. The
We will be
Xfinity mobile
40.
calling line. Imagine that.
See you,
Xfinity.
fellas.
See you tomorrow.
Where's your QZ?
Oh. All right. We got more to talk about, but first, should give a shout out to some of our friends.
All right, Hank, it's baseball season.
Yeah, it is.
You know what that means?
Rockies have lost 3 games.
No, it means that it's Coors Light
Right.
season.
There we go.
Because we've done the rankings before, and really high on the rankings of when to have a Coors Light is at Coors Field.
Right.
It really is.
Yeah.
Hot day, sun's going down behind the mountains, beautiful baseball sunset, ice cold beer in hand with the squad. It's tough to beat.
Yeah.
It's tough to beat. And it feels like we're already to summer. So we didn't have to skip the like cold days at Coors Field where maybe you don't want
We
a nice
hope.
cold beer. Maybe one.
We'll see on Friday.
Very important one.
One
Might be
important
cold.
day.
But other than that, it's been warm all year. So when you're trying to chill out, choose chill with Coors Light. It's the best. The best beer that you can have when you're just kicking back with the squad. So get yourself a Coors Light and have it delivered straight to your door if you want by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR.
Also, shout out to our friends over at Xfinity. Especially with the Rockies back, there's even more sports to watch now. And so you need even more devices. And they can take all of your devices on one service and they'll just send the strongest signal to the devices that need the signal the most.
Crazy.
It is very crazy. So if you're just like scrolling on your phone, probably doesn't need much power. But if you're trying to watch something in 4K, sounds like that would take a lot of power. Xfinity, it's the best. They have smart, intelligent Wi-Fi. They also have a 5-year price guarantee. So if you sign up for Xfinity, then you know exactly what you're going to have to pay for the next half decade. Best part of that is there are no annual contracts. There are no hidden fees. And you get all of Xfinity's best equipment included. So you're not trapped. You just have the opportunity to hold on to that same price. Lock in your price. Unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Back into the Xfinity studio for the DNVR Broncos podcast. What did we learn?
I don't want to just fixate on the negative, but
okay.
That J.K. Dobbins thing is really...
Hey, just don't get tackled the wrong way.
Right. How many times do you think he's
Okay,
going to be
so
hip drop tackled this year?
it's going to happen.
Every other game?
If
Close to it?
someone got in 4 car accidents and you could debate whether or not it was their fault or not.
Benny's wearing the shirt.
That's not where I'm going.
Oh, okay.
And then
Unrelated.
and then they got rear-ended.
Right.
And you said, how are we going to avoid getting in this many car accidents? And they were just like, well, I just got rear-ended. It wasn't my fault. Or someone else said, well, they just got rear-ended. It's not their fault. I was like, well, okay. We're talking about 5 car accidents here.
Right.
Like something is going wrong.
Right.
And I just feel like it's a little bit of willful ignorance to be like, oh, just hopefully he doesn't get illegally tackled. That's the only thing that happened. You know, like we're ignoring the injury history. I love JK. I hope he's healthy. But it feels like the Broncos are smoking some hopium.
Some hopium. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, no, I think I didn't like that response from George Paton in terms of like, oh yeah, just, you know, that was a freak accident or freak injury. No, it was a tackle. And that's a hard play to officiate. And it's a hard tackle to officiate. So yeah, I think there is a lot of hope there. And yes, I think all of us up here want to see him healthy and want to see him play a full season. But the reasoning behind, like, I also thought changing the entire organization was pretty
Over the top.
I don't buy it.
Neither do
Now,
I.
I will say this.
The swagger of the
Yes.
offense, yes. But like,
Okay.
hey, not changing the entire organization, that's a little extreme.
Yeah, no, I think it was a exaggeration of the point that Malcolm Roach made about JK, which is like, finally, there's someone on the offense who will chirp back at me.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, like the offense was kind of soft before, and,
Yeah.
and he came in there and brought some edge to the offense, and I think that was a really important impact. Changed the entire organization. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but I think that's the point he was trying to make is like he gave us something we didn't have before him.
He definitely gave the offense some juice. I'm also curious about the comment of Bo Nix, a quasi GM. So has Bo been trying to make moves? Is Bo Nix trying to make moves behind the scenes? Is he going up to George Paton and Sean like, hey, we need this type of player?
I want to know what the wrong moves were.
Well,
Like, what were the ones that like Bo was like, we should do this? And they're like, no, we're not doing that.
because even Tez Johnson had a pretty decent rookie season.
He did. Right. We're just in the moment. Do you see the whole drama with him?
Yeah,
Yeah. He caused some trouble.
Who is this?
Tez Johnson.
Not only was it like an affair, it was like a poorly timed affair on top of it. But so then I hear Tez Johnson, my mind goes
Poorly
to that.
timed affair.
It was-
Right. Notably. We might as well do it at this point.
Okay, yeah, you can tell the story.
Yeah. So I basically like he was proposing to the girl, and was it the
On the
morning
same-
of the proposal
Yes.
or the night?
The
He's-
morning of his
yeah.
proposal, he got back with his ex.
Okay.
That's what I meant by poorly timed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like on 2 levels, not great. But yeah, so when you say Tez Johnson, I kind of wonder, like, is that guy crazy? Or is like, maybe that's like the one mistake he made. I mean, it wasn't that other up airs are well timed. It's just that one was notably poorly timed. Just like all up airs. That's not
Like,
the
it
one.
could be bad timing or worse timing. This
Right.
one was worse.
Exactly. It's like the pain scale where it's like the pain. If there's 0 on the pain scale, then what's the point of the pain
There's no
scale?
pain.
Exactly. There's no
Has to
there's no
start at
0 on like the timing scale. It's like, oh, well timed. Right. Okay. So point is, Tez Johnson, good football player though, despite all of that.
Well, maybe that's why George thinks he was wrong about. I don't know. If
Maybe.
he's talking about Tez. I just feel like Bo.
What if Bo said no because he knew?
I wanna
and
hear-
George was like, he would have been good.
I want to hear Bo and Justin Strnad debate like GM moves.
Right.
Because Justin also thinks that
Yes,
he
takes.
would be the best GM in the league.
Are you guys surprised that Bo and George and Sean are kind of having discussions about roster construction just because he's such a young player?
I think that's part of it. I also think I'm also a Nuggets fan. I'm used to like Jokic not really giving much input, or like Rockies doesn't even matter. The Abs, I guess we have heard like occasionally, like McKinnon was the one who said Cogliano,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But it does feel like it's just been so long since there was like a player who goes and does those things
Right.
and is like qualified to do it.
I also think it's a courtesy. You know, we always talk about on this show, there's 4 pillars of an organization that you want to be on the same page. It's the quarterback, the head coach, the GM, and the owner.
Mhm.
And if you get that across the board, you're going to be good, especially if all of the people at those positions are good. And so I think the Broncos are doing that as like a, hey, you're the franchise guy. They're also probably not expecting him to say like, I hate Jaylen Waddle.
Right.
Definitely don't get him.
Yeah.
But they're like, hey, like, what would you think if we got Jaylen Waddle? It's almost like saying, I don't know, like to your wife, like, hey, what do you think if we went to the Bahamas this weekend? Like, she's not going to be like, not really a Bahamas person.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So you just say it because you're like excited to see the reaction.
Right. No, shout out to Bo. I mean, in the organization, if they are asking him just for his input or what he would think about that, I think that's really important. And obviously the belief that they have in Bo and what he's shown over the first 2 years of his career. So, I mean, I think that's pretty interesting. You know, I think, Paton had a big hand in terms of especially who was on the offense and who was in the receiver room or tight end room. But, at that time, at least from what I know, and it was, years 14, 15, 16, 17, he was late in his career. So he knew exactly what he wanted, so I thought that was interesting.
And growing into that role might be the ideal way to do it. Instead of like year 6 is when he just shows up and says like, we need to get a new receiver. Instead of having him in all of these conversations where it's like, this works, this doesn't, this, like the dialogue is there. Like I think of like Aaron Rodgers. It's like, I don't know how all of that happened early on in his career, like whether he was involved in these sorts of conversations, but I do remember the big blow up when he felt like they weren't giving him enough talent.
Yeah.
Like could by including him in the conversations could just make it a healthier relationship when the time comes for him to kind of put his fingerprints on things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think so. And I feel like with that door open, Bo's just going like, have you seen this guy in the draft?
Right.
Like, he looks sick.
Right. Yeah. I'm curious.
Which
Yeah.
I would be doing too if I had a direct line to the
Oh,
GM.
totally.
You think so?
Yeah.
But I think part of that though is like one of the reasons we are not pro athletes. Like the appeal of like being the guy who has like all the ideas and all those sorts of things. Like if the guy who turns into the pro athlete is oftentimes like a guy who's just in the gym all the time and like loves that sort of thing and not so much like the fantasizing about the whole thing.
It's just fun. I feel like it's just fun.
It is fun.
So like when I first got into this, I was covering CU basketball, and I was working for Rivals, and so I was going to
dope.
these like
Shout out. That's
it was fun.
super nostalgic.
I was going to these like tournaments in Las Vegas and watching these AAU hooper. Like I saw some great I saw Lonzo Ball play AAU, coached by his dad. It was crazy. But I would I had a direct line to Tad Boyle, so I would just text him like, have you seen this guy? And like, it would just be interesting to like hear his feedback. Like sometimes he'd be like, yeah, like we're trying to get in on him, but this, that. The other one would be like, oh, he's coming from one of those academies where you have to pay like $1 million to his coach just to get him to come. So, but it was just like, I liked being able to be like, hey, I'm over at so-and-so court. Like there's a sick power forward over here. You might want to come check him out.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what Bo's doing.
Right.
He's just like watching college football on a Saturday being like, have you seen this Sadiq guy?
Yeah, I'm curious where to go. It doesn't feel like we learned too much about the draft today.
That they're still open for a running back.
That is interesting. Yep.
I mean, especially bringing back that entire room.
Right.
But it sounds like Bidet and Jaleel are not necessarily safe, and you can kind of move off of those contracts. But, you know, can they or will they look for a running back later on in the draft?
Yeah, I don't know what to do at running back.
Is there just a great pass protecting running back in the draft?
But then I would just hope that that's a wasted pick, and that this year RJ just does that. You know, like and they're just in a weird spot.
Concerning to me that they basically never played RJ on third down last year.
Yeah, when that should be kind of his whole thing.
Yeah.
Like that's like the point of him is all the different things you can do on third down. Put him out in the slot.
He is built right for it. So maybe it is just, you know, he needs his technique better. Hopefully it's not a desire thing.
We also forget that.
I think it takes a while. I think it takes a while to pass protection. And it's just a different mindset when a linebacker in the NFL is running at you. Because Saquon wasn't. When I played with Saquon, his first and second year, he wasn't a great pass protector at all. And it wasn't that he wasn't capable, but a little bit harder.
Yep.
And then it's just different because like people are trying to tee off on Saquon Barkley.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, to, you know, not let him get out in the route or just get another hit on him. Yeah. Just get a free hit on him. So I think
as a running back, you're already like, man, I'm going to get hit hard every time I get the ball. Now I'm not even going to get the ball and I have to get hit hard again.
And somebody's got a running start at you and you got to insert slightly right there. I'm curious if Davis Webb in this new offense or new formations or terminology, will this be a learning curve for these players this year? It's like, hey, we don't have a new offense technically or a new coaching staff, but things are going to be different. Terms could be different. Play calls could be different. So like, what's this? What is that going to look like for these players? Even Bo going into year 3 or RJ Harvey going into year 2.
How many times in a season did you feel like you got like really crunched?
Like on a hit?
Yeah.
Super Bowl year, we plan probably once or twice a year.
Yeah. I feel like the running backs are getting it like once or twice a game.
Yeah. Right.
It's so crazy.
It is. And like looking back, so I just pulled
They're
up.
built for it though.
Yeah,
They
for
are
sure.
built for it.
They are built for it. Like, and then their body is so calloused.
Yeah.
Like the way, like if one of us got hit right now, it's going to hurt really bad.
Yep.
The hit to them, to me, doesn't.
They're
Because
just
they've been
thick.
hit. Yeah, they're strong and their body is ready to absorb that type of
Their
force.
quads are like this big.
Yeah.
You just kind of glance off them.
Also, when you're running the ball, you're also like ready for it.
Yes.
Rather than
And
if
they're
you're trying to
crouched up
make a
like
catch
this,
and you
yeah.
get
Right.
like a rib shot.
Yeah.
Right. That is true. Also, so I pulled up the snaps for the first 9 games when all the running backs were healthy. And so only the 3 guys were on the field. J.K. Dobbins played 50.7%. Harvey played 29.3%. And then Bidet was the other 18.9. Or actually missing 0.1, but doesn't matter. So
I'm curious if they're considering getting like RJ up to 40,
well,
taking 10% off of JK's plate.
Yep, I like that.
or just give him all of Tyler Bidet's job on third downs. Because at that point, because again, Dobbins at 50.7, 49.3 the other way. Like that's a pretty healthy, even split. And you could still take some off of Dobbins.
I'm just really hoping there's a plan to keep J.K. Dobbins healthy other than hope he doesn't get hip dropped.
I know. Because they all get, everybody.
So you want to go 50-50 RJ, JK?
It's up to RJ. Like if RJ can pass protect, then I think that's the easy answer. But if he can't protect, then all of a sudden you're stuck in the same spot where, like in that case, maybe you do just put more on RJ's plate and take some away from Dobbins. But that 3-back rotation is just not something that I'm a fan of. And the thing about the draft is, like, okay, cool, you go get somebody in the 5th round. if push comes to shove, like the reason you want another running back is because you don't trust J.K. Dobbins. If you lose J.K. Dobbins, do you really want to see a 5th-round rookie on the field late in the year? Like, I just don't. I'm struggling to see how a rookie helps this room this year.
Unless they're really good.
Unless they're really good. Unless they're really good, which is always possible.
Because, I mean, we see it often where a running back comes in and is an immediate contributor for a team and is really good.
Yeah, it happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
That young running back, my last year in the league from San Francisco, for San Francisco, Elijah Mitchell. I think he was like a 6th-round pick, and he played really well as a rookie.
Yeah, that's
first couple years.
Was that was before Shanahan?
What do you mean?
Kyle Shanahan. No, that was with Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, that's the Shanahan effect. They can just make every running back look good.
They can. They can. I'm still tempted to just wait till the trade deadline. That's still where I'm at.
For a running back?
Yep. Go get somebody for cheap if JK's healthy and go spend all you have to spend. If you wind up needing a star, you can go get a star at that point.
Let's go get Achane.
Yep.
Not the new one, the old one.
Right. The original Achane. Yeah, okay. I can't pull up rookie rushing numbers. What else did we get? The comp picks, I thought kind of interesting. They expect, I think you said the 3rd and the 7th. It must be the 4th and the 7th for next year. So that'd be JFM and PJ Locke. Kind of crazy. They were able to dodge any sort of cancellations because Tyson Anderson didn't play enough to actually qualify. But by not signing a free agent, they do think they're getting those 2 picks. People online seem to think they're not getting the PJ Locke pick at the end because it depends on how much PJ plays this year. But do you feel better about the no free agent strategy, knowing that now they're in a position to potentially just get 2 free draft picks next year because of it?
No, I mean, I wanted, I definitely wanted more activity and to sign some outside guys, but we got that with the Waddle trade.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it just took a little while, and free agency is still not over. I think there's still some value to be had before training camp comes. And they talked about, JK and signing him in June last year. Will there be some opportunities there to add depth at different positions?
I think comp picks are for losers.
That's interesting considering the teams that usually get them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
It doesn't mean anything to me.
Okay.
But so that doesn't change my feelings about the free agency at all. But Jaylen Waddle 100% changed my.
Yeah.
Like, I stopped caring about free agents the second that they got Waddle. Now, I still would like to see Calais Campbell on this football team.
Me too. He's
but
perfect.
That he's not on any other team yet, so I'm not going to complain about it.
Right.
Calais Campbell, I didn't see the pod. You guys were talking about Von, Calais, Cam Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
The Calais is yours?
Yep. I think he was all of ours.
Yeah.
Everybody?
Yeah.
You just don't need an edge.
Veteran presence.
He's
I will
JFM.
say, when we talked to Baldy the day after, and he said without hesitation that he believed Cam Jordan could play JFM's role, that made me more interested in Cam, because I felt like it was going to be kind of like we're going to have to pay him a bunch of money, convince him to switch positions. Like, it just feels like a long shot.
Yeah.
When Baldy was just like, oh yeah, absolutely, he could definitely do that, no doubt about it. I was just like, oh, well, maybe I feel better about it now.
Yeah. Question is, would he want to?
Right.
Yeah.
And like, there's the Sean Payton connection, which is why we have this conversation at all. Otherwise, he would never come up to Broncos fans. Same thing with Von. Like, nobody be saying like, we need to go get Von Miller if Von Miller wasn't a great Bronco in the past. So you wonder if the Sean thing even like helps that or hurts that. You would imagine there's a good relationship there
With Cam Jordan?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just think Cam knows that Sean's a winner. And so
True.
if he comes here, he's going to win a lot of games.
Yeah.
And they'll have a chance to win a Super Bowl. I do think that Calais Campbell is just too good to not do.
What a good human. He's got to be a freak of nature. What is this, year 18 for him?
I think we determined it's even more.
What
Maybe
year?
it is year 18.
Yeah, because his rookie year was the Super Bowl. Cardinals, Steelers, right? Is that what we decided?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, but that was...
I know. 2008, he was drafted.
Okay, so yeah, year
Year
might be going
18.
into-
Year 18.
year 18.
At D tackle.
That's crazy.
Yeah. No.
Like, we were talking about when he was in high school in Colorado. Like, I was 8 years old.
Where'd he go to school?
Freshman in high school in Colorado.
Denver South.
Denver South. Okay. Wow.
Same
That'd
as
be a
Phil
nice
Lindsay.
little homecoming right there.
I know.
The Browns decided they're not going to go through with that proposal. To try to be able to trade draft picks 5 years out, instead of 3 years out.
Why? Someone talked him out of it?
Well, it wasn't going to pass.
Okay.
Nobody was voting for that.
It's just a waste of time.
Yeah, it was just a waste of time. But it's kind of notable. Because the idea basically would have been like, well, now we could consider a Myles Garrett trade because teams can give us enough resources to consider it.
I like that. I like it. I think you should be able to do it.
I go the other way. I think the reason I love the NFL is that there's like all the parity and it's so back and forth.
Yeah.
And you just can't be letting these morons, because it's one thing if like,
it is true. And that's kind of why I liked it, is it will lead someone to do something really stupid.
And then they won't have to face, like, they'll get fired, but then it'll be the new GM and that poor fan base where it's like, oh, our desperate GM tried to like make something happen to keep his job.
Herschel Walker trade.
Exactly, because he had to try to keep his job. And now we're all stuck for 5 years because of that moron.
Well, then no one might take the job.
Right.
You know, like,
right.
You trade 5 first-round picks for someone. By year 2, it's failed miserably.
Right.
You're fired. Now someone's got to come in. They don't have a first-round pick for 3 more years, and they don't have that good player because they busted for whatever reason.
Right. Or it's like, if I want to just eat junk food every day, that's my right, because like I'll suffer those consequences down the line. It'd be different though if I was eating junk food all day every day, and then like in 2 years somebody else is like taking over my body, or that, or if I was pregnant, that worked. Because like, and that's the thing, is like you can't enable these GMs just to be dumb when their back's up against the wall.
It would be fun though.
There would be some crazy things that would happen.
Yeah. What would you trade for Myles Garrett?
Man,
as much as I have to.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where the line is. I mean,
the line is Bo Nix.
You wouldn't do that?
No. Not at all. I've seen what this team looks like with a Hall of Fame pass rusher and no quarterback.
I know. But I don't.
Yeah, you got to have a QB.
We're going to have some fun conversations about paying quarterbacks at some point. But and it's not that like
you would
it's
make
not
me
worth
miserable starting Jarrett Stidham because we got Myles Garrett.
You wouldn't go to Jarrett Stidham. No offense to Jarrett, but I mean, there's. It's not like Bo Nix is the only quarterback in the world.
Yeah, he's the best one that you can have, though.
He is. But I mean, you get.
Would you trade? Would you put Bo in the trade for Myles Garrett and like sign a Kirk Cousins?
No, God, no. No one. Bo Nix is untradeable.
It is weird because Myles Garrett.
Everybody were just having fun too. Just relax.
I know. They will not relax. But no, it's the thing about Myles Garrett is like the timeline also, because like by the time you get the quarterback figured out, is he still useful? And your defense is already so good. Like the Broncos of all teams are the one team that probably shouldn't be doing something like that.
Yes.
But still, like
Thank you.
theory,
You're getting there.
right. But just like when you give Bo Nix $60 million a year, is he going to outperform that contract? Like I kind of doubt it. And so like you're saying, like if we get neutral value there, then that's a massive win.
You want him to take some Brady discounts? Like what he was doing with the Patriots?
It's never happening again.
I'd love it. But yeah. But if you get Myles Garrett, he is way outperforming that contract. Like you are getting the surplus value there.
And
like, that's the good side of the trade.
Don't have a quarterback, so it doesn't matter.
Unless you find a quarterback.
Sure, yeah. That only took us 10 years the last time.
Right. Oh, yeah. Let's see. What else did we learn today? We're going to get some stadium updates later on. What do we want to hear about the stadium?
I don't care.
You really don't care.
My work here is done. I got them to keep it in Denver.
I went to that soccer game on Saturday.
How was it?
It was good. It made me think. I'm not like a soccer guy, but like one of the thoughts was like we tried to get the World Cup here. I was like, if the World Cup came to Denver, it would have been kind of cool to like go see a World Cup game here.
Yes,
it would have been insane.
Yeah. And so, but there were like some of that, but also like
we probably wouldn't have gotten a U.S. game.
Yeah,
it would have been cooler if we did.
I'd rather see a good team anyway. But yeah, it is just so nice there, and being outside is so nice, and especially because it's like the noon kickoff for them too, because they also kick. It just stinks that it is going inside. I hate that.
Well, it's going to be retractable roof.
Imagine if the whole wall was there and you just have a little window at the top.
I think you're underestimating the advancements in technology.
Have you been to a retractable roof stadium?
I mean, like never open. Because like the Saints when we were in there was closed.
Mm-hmm. That was cool.
The Saints.
Does that know? No, it's the Falcons that have the little.
Yeah. Falcons. Yeah. It's nice.
What do they have?
They have a little butthole on the top. Is what it looks like. That's what it looks like.
No, retractable roofs. There is definitely an element of like filling and being outside for sure.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that was
it just
cool
has
though.
to really be
63,000 people in the stadium for women's soccer was really, really cool.
Right.
Yeah, it looked like a perfect day of weather.
It was an absolute
It was nice.
perfect day.
Unlike Friday
also
with the Rockies.
best flyover I've ever seen in my life.
What'd they do for the flyover?
Just a sick fighter jet, but I was sitting right in the south stands, like directly underneath the scoreboard. So I like heard it coming and I just looked up and it felt like it flew right over my head. It was so sick.
There's some cool planes. But yeah, stadium. There's nothing you need to know.
As long as we're keeping it in Burnham Yard, that's all I care about.
Okay.
Nothing for the stadium for me. I actually should have asked Zach about the update of the practice facility and like when's that going to open?
Right.
I'm more so like I want to know Greg Penner's thoughts on Davis Webb. I want to know more about the dynamic between Sean and Davis and what this is really going to look like. We're not going to find out those answers probably until the season starts, but what is that dynamic relationship going to look like? How is Sean? I mean, he's got a new role now. Like he moves into like this chairman role where he's not hands-on with the play calling and all of that. Like, what's that really going to look like? What does Greg think about Davis? Is Davis your next, Sean stays here for the next 4 or 5 years. Is Davis now? Does he move into the head coaching role? Do you have a succession plan there? What does that kind of look like? I'm curious about that.
If you were having drinks with Greg Penner tonight, would there just be like a little part of you that would want to ask, like, how much money could you give me before you noticed it was gone?
I won't name any names. I was talking to somebody who was talking to him and asked, "Can I hold $1 million?"
Somebody asked
exactly
that?
who it is.
Yeah, you know who it is. I know who it is
exactly who it
also.
Somebody asked that?
Yeah, he was like, I don't care. Like, I'll ask. Just see what he says.
And what
He
did
was
he say?
asking Rob Walton. That's who it was.
What did he say? What was
No.
the answer?
He did not get it. Yeah, it was negative. It was not. He was not allowed to do it.
Yeah, but did he get cussed out or?
No, I don't think so.
I feel like that would be like a haha. Like,
Right.
I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah.
But I'll just laugh and pretend like you were kidding.
Right.
They're not moving the stadium. I thought there was Burnham Yards was a done deal. That is a done deal.
That is where it is.
Okay.
Yeah. They have bought the land now.
Have they?
They agreed to terms.
Okay.
So I guess that could go wrong. Any final thoughts on all of this?
I would want to hear what their plans are for parking. That does seem like a thing that there's not enough room for.
Right. And also,
then they
nobody
showed,
wants to
like-
ruin all that space with stupid parking lots.
I
So
know.
how do you do it?
Well, they showed this diagram and it had like 2 little parking lots on it, and they were like, "Yep, this is as much parking as at the other
Right.
stadium." And it's like the other stadium is like 270 degrees surrounded by parking lots.
Right.
Yeah.
And parking's still like $100.
Oh yeah, it was.
Oh, the parking's going to be
60
even more.
Could you imagine?
this weekend.
Oh, Zach should ask Greg Penner, like, is the DNVR Bar going to have some
Right.
real estate
Right. We should.
at the new stadium where we can,
I've heard that
Move the bar.
there's interest there.
Oh, I have interest. Is there more important interest?
Potential mutual interest.
Wow. Potential mutual interest. Do we have any super chats? No. Okay. Yeah. The parking thing sucks.
I also don't drive when
Right.
I'm going to the games.
No, I would never drive to a sporting event because then I don't get to have beer at the event.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't add up to me. But I do recognize that a lot of people do like to drive, and a lot of people like to just have bars around the stadiums where we can have beers, and you can't do both. Like, you need to get super creative with like the parking garages, which are always inconvenient. A parking garage for a sporting event just seems awful because everybody's trying to get out at the same time.
Yep.
So I don't know what you do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nobody
I
has
think,
the answer.
I mean, there could be some parking structure. I'm trying to think of like the Chase Center for Golden State. Like, but a lot of people, take the,
But that's also a third of the people.
yeah.
True.
or less. I don't know what
Probably
their total
less.
stadium is.
That's probably like 18,000.
Yeah, 18, 20.
Almost
We're
a
at
fourth.
76.
Yeah.
They take a lot
Unfortunately,
of they take like what would we call the
We are going to OT.
yeah what is
The light
what's
rail.
yeah, they take the light rail.
Ah.
A lot of people take that. So
Yeah.
BART out there.
yeah.
Which I also would love to do, but then I look at, like, we were at the soccer game, we're walking out past the trains, and you just look at the people on the trains, and they're just like pressed up against the windows like this because they don't all fit. Looks miserable.
Yeah. So I used to live in the tech center. Bad idea. Wouldn't recommend. And
Right. Because you don't work in the tech center.
well, I did at the time.
Oh, you did?
At
Oh, it's close to Broncos. Yeah.
But I would take the light rail into Nuggets games because you could literally take it like from right next to my house to the stadium, which was pretty sick.
Yep.
And then I just stopped doing it after the games because it was so
It's awful.
packed. It was just like everyone's trying to get in there. And then one time, like I was like, you know what? I'll just get the next one. I'm not trying to get this packed in. And the next one just never came. So I started being like, I'll light rail there. That's the good idea. Then I'll Uber home.
Right. What if you have this huge underground road? Instead of just parking and everybody getting out one spot, you move the whole like road system underground so that you can then park.
That's going to
down
take
there.
too
Not
long.
happening.
And expensive. Bad idea. Okay, that's gonna do it for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Hear from Zach again after he hears from Damani Leach, Greg Penner, and Sean Payton is the third. Should be a good time. Give us a like on the way out. We'll see you tomorrow.
God bless Bo Nix.
We all silly like the mayor.